to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. This is Brian Beamish in the saddle with you here. I don't really ever have any intentions for these videos to go long or short. I just talk until I don't feel like talking anymore. So my apologies. If I'm not mistaken, I think the video we did on Monday was like 2 or 3 hours long. Some people find they get really good value out of that. Some people are very critical of the fact that I do like to do these videos fairly lengthy. I'm not quite sure what the right thing to do is. I suppose the right thing to do is just go with your heart, and whatever your heart tells you to do, just try your best in life. That's all I can ask of anybody, including myself. And the whole point of this, I suppose, is just to try and help all of you out there in internet land. YouTube land, I guess, as it is. And if you can learn something from this, I think it's always a good idea to have like journals and stuff out, because you never know when I'm going to drop a little nugget of wisdom. And if anything, hats off to all of you that can actually make it to the end of the videos. I do notice a lot of people on this YouTube channel and stuff, if they have like a lengthy video, they'll say like an hour in or something. Wow, not many people actually make it through to the end of the video. So if you're still watching, way to go. But I think we actually have a pretty good core that gets good value out of these. And keep in mind too, for some reason, I have no idea why, but I am one of the types of people where you can actually put this on like 1.5 speed. I don't, two times speed might be a little bit fast. But 1.5 speed, I think you can still listen to me and understand what I'm saying at that speed. So it does make it go a little bit faster. Having said that, what we usually do, at least not we, but what I usually do is I like to cover a pretty consistent sort of format with these videos. Just talk way too much, right? But theoretically, Chris and I get together before we get these video going, and we have sort of an itinerary of what we would like to cover here today. I always like to check in with the dashboard and the breadth indicator and see if there's any nuggets of wisdom that the platform is telling us. Of course, also too, keep in mind, this is the big Black Friday deal event. I guess they have the window open here for the Black Friday deal for another 6 days. I think it's kind of interesting. I'm not quite sure why they picked that specific number, but nonetheless, anyway, there it is. And this will just keep counting down until I guess we're probably doing it like through the weekend or something like that. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, kick some ass Tuesday. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, so if you do have the opportunity, I strongly suggest you come on over and check out all the fun tools that we have available, whether it be things like, considering joining the full membership on the site for the dashboard and all of the fun candy that comes with that. We got basically a 50% discount. And a lot of people, they're not actually even at the stage where they can even use these tools appropriately because they just don't know what they're doing in the market. That was the reason why we built the school. At least I built the school a good 10 years ago. Can't believe it's been that long. Been teaching this program for a decade. And we're still not accredited. Although I actually heard from a student the other day, and this guy's a pretty smart guy. He's already been funded by TopStep. Although I think he came in during a trending market, so it was really easy for him to pass their tests. And now he's finding it a little bit more difficult now that his favorite commodity, silver, if you know who that is, then you know who I'm talking about on the site. Has kind of calmed down here a little bit, not so one directional. But anyway, the point being that he's in the level 3 program right now. And of course, the level 3ers get to work with me specifically. And we had level 3 class yesterday. And, again, along that same theme, one of the reasons why I don't do a video on Tuesdays is because I teach class on Tuesday, and that class was a good I think it was about probably a good 3 hours at least, because we started at 11 o'clock Pacific time, and I know it was about 1:30, 2 o'clock at least by the time we started to get near the end. And again, it's like we have a very specific set of information that has to be imparted, and also the opportunity for Q&A every single week in class with the students. And one of the students, he does like to ask a lot of questions. So, we just keep working until people feel as though they've had their fill. And of course, I've covered all the topics that I want to cover. So, and then also too, on Tuesday evenings, we have our Stock Pickers Club meeting at TRI. And the Stock Pickers Club had a great meeting with the crew last night. Actually, even hashed out a really cool options spread trade that I'm trying to get on Microsoft here. And this is such a good sales pitch for the education program. We take TRI education like to the next level. It's not even you can't find an education program like this even online. The gentleman I was referring to earlier, he has taken level 1 and level 2, and I think he's done fairly well. And like I said, he's working with me in the level 3 program. We'll see whether he can pass the level 3 options exam. But he actually went, and just a week or two ago, he was telling me in class yesterday, he went and he took the CMT practice exam. And he'd never opened any of their textbooks or anything, and he passed. He got 70%, I think he said. So you can go get your CMT designation taking Brian's education program here. I couldn't believe that when he told me that. So, and he was saying, you should bill this as and CMT stands for Chartered Market Technician. Which is sort of like it's if you want to be an analyst in the market, you take the what is it, the CFA, Chartered Financial Analyst, and if you want to be hired by serious firms in their technical analysis department, you get the CMT designation, Chartered Market Technician. And you'd think Brian would get off his butt and just do the stupid exam and just get it over with. But I'm so lazy, and I absolutely love the niche that I've carved out for myself. I don't need to really prove anything to anybody. A lot of people get these designations because they have this need to prove to the world that actually they know what they're talking about. I can just sit down and talk to anybody, anytime, anywhere about markets, and it's really obvious I know what the hell I'm doing. Versus people who really don't know what they're doing, Gucci sweater wearers, all that kind of nonsense. So, if you want to become a chartered market technician, as this gentleman suggested, well, why not take TRI's education program? It is a perfect lead in. And like I said, he hadn't even read any of their material, didn't really study anything, just went in, took the practice exam, and boom, got 70% passing grade. Couldn't believe that. So anyway, the point of the matter here is if you don't know what you're doing and you really would like to learn how to actually run a small business of trading with the expectation to make money, like actually expecting to turn a profit, I tell you, I don't think there's any other place on the net that has our education program. Doesn't hold a candle to it. Absolutely beautiful. So, if you have a moment, maybe come on over and consider joining our community and participating in the Black Friday deal. I think there's some absolute fantastic discounts, and we would love to have you on board. I think I've talked to you quite a bit recently about the development process of this dashboard. Don't really want to go into too much of a sales pitch here today. If anything, I'd almost prefer that, we just leave the sales pitch to Josh. Josh is the person who put this page together. And by all means, if you have any questions, feel free to interact. I'll be back. Of course, Julian will be here tomorrow with you on the public show. I'll be back on Friday. And then, of course, we'll have another interaction on Sunday. So by all means, if you do have questions, get the questions ready. And if anything, maybe even if you are on the site right now, you can, if you are a member, you can pop into the daily brief request room and post your request for me to take a look at different names. There's our buddy DDBB, David. I think he's going to be richer than all of us put together. And if anything, he is our current cycle's Farmer Dave right now. And then when these markets all start going absolutely crazy apeshit, which I fully expect into, as we work our way through 2025, my hunch is DDBB will turn into astronaut DDBB. We had a gentleman last cycle, through the boring accumulation part of the cycle, he called himself Farmer Dave, and he was in there farming, running nodes, I guess. I'm not quite sure what the terminology is in POS land. And of course, as soon as the market went absolutely apeshit crazy to the upside, which happens every cycle. I mean, it's embarrassing how cliche this stuff is. Then all of a sudden they're like, well, you know what? I'm not going to be mining anymore and stuff. I'm just going to be counting all my profits from these assets that have gone all crazy to the upside. So get ready, folks. We are definitely into that environment again. Time to rock and roll. You all remember, do you have your shrimp together? Did you get it together? If not, do you want to make some money from trading? I mean, you've all seen this image. And of course, this should just be like, and if anything, good trading and good investing is basically just the same message and just where are we on all these cycles. And there are times in the market where you really shouldn't do anything. We all remember, if you were in crypto, God, you remember going through that 2015 slide. And then, following the sickness nonsense market and the Fed actually getting serious about interest rates again. We all remember what that slide was like. Hell, I've been in crypto long enough. I even remember very briefly at the very beginning of this slide. This was a muted slide, but nonetheless, it's very ebb and flow. And of course, I mean, the cool part about this is the message just doesn't change. And unfortunately, for those people that missed the opportunity, I've been like jumping up and down, pulling my hair out for the past year, trying to get you all jazzed and excited about rocking and rolling in the market. But if you miss the window, I really hate it when people chase, because quite often the public, of course, comes in and buys when the market has moved up quite a bit. And unfortunately, you get people that say, no, don't worry. You'll still make money if you come in and buy the top of the market. And really, you're just asking for trouble if you do that. So anyway, whether it be you understand the cost of money and how the cost of money actually dictates when the smart money actually speculates in the marketplace and when they cool their jets. Well, I mean, you can see it. Here we are in the proof of the pudding. There is the central planners starting to lower the cost of money. And so what a big surprise. Crypto as an excellent proxy of growth in the marketplace, and of course we have our fun seasonal study on good old Bitcoin. There is our seasonal window transitioning from spring following the halving event into summer. And since the halving event sort of resets all of the fundamentals, we go through this repricing event. And usually this, it has now for literally the entire history of this funny little asset. 1.382, or like sort of think of like Ray Burchett, Ray Barbecue from a time fib perspective. He usually stops bulls in its tracks. Right here's 1.32, 382, beg your pardon. And you can see how the market ran right up into that end of the year event. And this was the listing of the CME futures contracts. Interestingly enough, this was Donald Trump's last sort of hurrah in the market. And you can see, I actually fully expect this cycle to look something like this. Ay caramba. I do think, with the breakout to new highs, and of course, there is that halvening event and the transition from the spring into the summer season. You do see that there's a little bit of back and forth here, right on this big sort of technical event. As futures traders, believe it or not, we have one gentleman on the site. He's doing so well that through this Thanksgiving holiday week, he basically just said, I'm taking the week off. I'm rolling in money. And I'm going to go enjoy the holiday week with my family. But all he does is he just hunts for breaks to new highs, and then he shorts them, and he makes money on the fade of the test of the high or low of the range. It works both ways. And actually, that's a setup that I learned. In fact, the prop firm that I send so many TRIers to, which is so cool. The boss of the place, Michael Patak, aka Nebraska. He used to, this is a million years ago when we used to talk with him. I don't even know if he talks to people individually anymore. But he used to tell us a story about how he was just about to get fired from the prop firm that he was starting out on. And the boss said, look, if you can't force yourself to come in and sell against highs and buy against lows, then get the fuck out of here. You're useless to us. And we affectionately like to call it the Nebraska FU setup. And what's so cool is over the past 5-10 years, we've had a bunch of people who have sort of warmed to the idea. But Craig, aka Casper on the site, man, he's got this trading plan down cold. And like I said, he's like every single bloody day he's in there. All right, there's 50 ticks. All right, there's 80 ticks. All right, there's 30 ticks. Oh, there's 20 ticks. There's 50 ticks. All right, I'm calling it a day. I'm done. And all he does is he just comes in and sells against highs and buys against lows and just makes money like a bandit. And his big aspirational goal for this coming cycle is he wants to be number one on the top step leaderboard. So it just goes to show what we teach works. And really, it's just a question of can you apply yourself? But anyway, the point of the matter here is it doesn't surprise me. Fast forward to today, flirting with all-time highs. Yeah, you're going to have a little bit of traffic in here. I wouldn't even be surprised if this needs a bit of back and forth. You can see the funny little squiggly line theory stuff I've put on here. And keep in mind, this is a weekly chart, sort of zoomed out picture. But very much like this cycle, this is probably what the next few months looks like. It's going to be pretty choppy. And then, once we can transition through that, look at what we've got coming ahead of us. Holy shit, Muslim. Man, that's going to be one hell of a bull run. So, if anything, what I do is I run a business specifically geared towards making money from trading. And of course, I have a very simple plan. I want to buy against the bottom ends of ranges. And I want to start, letting them have some when assets double so I can get at least into a risk-free trade. And just keep spoon feeding as they take the market higher. That's what I do. It's really, and probably most of the people watching this video are like, yeah, Brian, we know your story. Oh God, you make us sick, bragging about your awesome money making prowess on a regular basis. But I mean, that's what I do is I just run a small business of trading with the expectation to make money from the business. So if you pop on over, if you want a visual cue, I've been running this Twitter feed, which of course I have to get off of here. I've talked and joked with you guys about I'm going to lose a bet if I'm still on here at the end of the year. Which means probably the Christmas holiday weekend, I'm going to be feverishly trying to set up the DeFi version. And what I love, of course, is that TRI peeps have all like, yeah, Brian, it's really simple. Just go here. Just go here. Do this, do this, do this. And it's like, all right, well, I just got to get off my butt and do it. That's all. Anyway, the point here is this is TRI's feed, and of course it's a lot of very I think beautiful PMA stuff. Like this is the life that we live as a trader. And if you don't acknowledge this, and if you are actually a professional trader and you look at this image, you go, yeah, that makes sense. That's basically what we do. If you're a Gucci sweater wearer, you don't have any clue about this because really they haven't gone through the process to actually learn, quote unquote, the process. But one thing I absolutely love about this TRI Twitter page is it's chock full of really good quality information. Of course, I get the team to retweet a lot of my tweets. But also too, this is pretty good, just general information about the site and about investing and trading and all that kind of stuff. So it's a little sprinkle of Brian, and sort of nuggets of wisdom from the TRI team. I think it's definitely worth a follow. And then of course, Brian, myself, I think it's probably worth following me here. You can see this guy here. He is just begging for me to sign up to this thing, and I just avoid it like the plague. Anyway, point of the matter here is this is my personal feed, and running that small business of trading. That's what this basically is, and I do this decade in, decade out. I'm now into my fifth decade on the planet. Got my first job in the stock market in 1988. Went off, did university in the late 80s, early 90s, came back, full time sort of working in the market. Early 90s, 93, 94 was my first official sort of job, actually accounting firm, but worked my way over to the brokerage business following that accounting firm position. And I've been basically doing this since. So what is it? It's 2024. I can literally say I've done this for well over a quarter of a century, every single day, day in, day out. And actually been watching Bitcoin price day in, day out for like literally, a decade. And I've done this actually now 3 times. This was the first iteration. Last cycle, we had a fun little market state there. And of course, prices went up quite a bit. This was sort of like the days of Trex and the days of Poloniacs. I guess Polo's still owned, but when Goldman bought them out, it completely changed. The days of Crapsy, Cryptopia. Well, actually, no, that's a different one. That was out in New Zealand, Cryptopia. But Crapsy, right? And that was Crypsy. That was one of the OG crypto exchanges. So that and the account was on Trex, if you guys remember Bitterex. Anyway, the point being that this was the first iteration of my experience in Bitcoin 2013 through 2018 kind of idea. Then we had 2018 to 2021, 2022. That story was really all about things like Luna. And TRI actually was up like, geez, millions of dollars on that Luna. And, I suppose just like other market participants, My plan that I was running on Luna, actually, I did really, really well on it. Bought it at like $5, sold it 15, 30, 60. Had my next sell order at 120 working, and the thing topped out at 119. Ugh. But I'm trying to think more team like. Um, that iteration, we really put a lot of weight into our research, our CTO, our what I would consider TRI's crypto expert, Sjord, who basically is the sort of chief architect of this website and all these fun tools. And he himself personally did very, very well on the Luna story. And unfortunately, we did get caught bag holding when the whole thing fell apart. But actually, interestingly enough, we still have a bunch of that UST and stuff like that. And I know Novogratz, I know he wants to make damn sure he can be made whole on that Luna story. So I don't think that that story's over yet. We'll see what happens. If they do bring it back, then we'll all be eating gold-plated vacas over in Greece next October. I'll be eating a gold-plated vodka anyway, but it'll be a special vodka if that UST actually does revive itself. We'll see. Only time will tell. Anyway, we have a bunch of people at TRI who did jump in and buy some of that UST right at the very bottom. And like I said, our joke is if it does run up, then we're going to take the proceeds of that and we're going to be eating gold-plated steaks. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Tell you, the market is definitely hotting up. So I spent quite a bit of time last year barking at all of you, do you have your shit together? I want to try and refrain from swearing too much on YouTube. Although, as soon as I start talking about politicians and the banksters, oh man, the potty mouth sure comes out. Um, I think there was actually a pretty good buying window there in crypto about the middle of September, early beginning of October here. And you can see, and this is the value of subscribing to TRI. We don't show this on public broadcasts. You can only access this if you do subscribe to the pro dashboard. And I think I talked to you about this on Wednesday, that this is why I built this tool a million years ago. Keep in mind, I used to run this whole program over on a website that I coded myself back in the days when Jojo was still with us, back in the early 2000s. Probably a lot of you were still in grade school, maybe even in diapers back then. When I showed, of course, Jord my 1980s website and the code, he affectionately laughed at me. If anything, it worked, right? A very long destination to get to your long road to get to your destination. All of the checks were manual, and all the equations and stuff that I had calculated on a daily basis were all done manually. And of course, the code was just a mess, but hey, it worked. So, point here is that over the past 5 years, what we've been trying desperately to do is just replicate that 1980s website in the 21st century. And this is the direct application of that concept called breadth, where if you have everybody and their brother bearish on both a short term and a medium term, that's the key, that both in the near term, everybody's throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Then if you zoom out a bit, you go, holy crap, even on the medium term, they're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Maybe you have like an oversold condition on a weekly chart and an oversold condition on a daily chart. That would be a similar scenario. That's often a very, very good sign that the market is washed out. And Gucci sweater wearers, they're gone, right? They've been absolutely destroyed. And ironically enough, in the beginning part of October, the end of September, you couldn't give crypto away. Actually, Mt. Gox was slightly before my time. I came on the scene literally the day Roly Poly Oly was being arrested. So if anything, and a lot of the people that Cole over there on YouTube is saying Mt. Gox. So Mount Gox, its heyday was actually the whole Silk Road reversal lows. And that was one iteration before I got into Bitcoin. But it was fun joking and laughing at Roly Poly Oly as he was forced to lose a little bit of weight in Japanese prison, which I think they only get rice to eat in Japanese prisons. So the one good part about, I suppose, for him was, I'm sure he had some Bitcoin stashed somewhere. Who wouldn't? I mean, hell, I've even got a few Bitcoins on USB devices. Um, and of course, you all know that as soon as I can buy a house with those Bitcoins, I will for my son. So, Roly Poly Oly gets thrown in jail, and I think he's been released now. I don't think he's serving any more time. I'm sure he has those Bitcoins on USB devices conveniently stashed. Just the same thing as SBF. SBF has got like a USB device like buried underneath a rock in his like mother's backyard or something like that with like 1,000 Bitcoins just sitting there waiting for the day he gets out of jail. But anyway, point being, this tool works absolutely beautifully. And I think, the great part about it is the proof is the pudding's in the eating. Was the market nice and washed out back there at the beginning of October? How many of you were loading up on crypto back at the beginning of October? And more importantly, and again, this is an excellent sales pitch for subscribing to the dashboard, this weekly commodity trend survey, it will keep you out of a lot of trouble. And you can see right now on this top 30 index that we're tracking, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 names out of 30. That's less. What is that? It's only about 10% of the market is actually, even in our opinion, worth taking a look at. Everything else is either meh, sitting in the middle of the range, or this shit has moved up a lot. And if you go and buy it here, you're buying Gucci sweater wear courses at the same time, just asking for trouble. So in a weird sort of way, I'm sitting there right now in the market. I did force myself, and I tried to get out of the whole DeFi business. I didn't do really very well running the ledger myself. Let's put this over here. So let's see. I can show you this. I don't think there's any personal information here. You can see the number of positions that I did put on over in I guess we can go portfolio over on Kraken here. I moved a bunch over that I had on the ledger, and I have a bunch of stuff on the ledger that I can't move over because it's either dead, Ubic, or it's total DeFi, and I have to, like, one of my favorite stories. In fact, actually, like two of my favorite stories. I would love to buy them, and yet I can't because they're Zen, and I've got some Zen on the ledger, so I'm happy I'm long. But I would have loved to have bought some more of that one. And SYS, absolutely love that coin. I've always loved the developer team over there at SYS. And I think they're, I can't buy that over here either, which is such a piss off, but oh well. Welcome to communist North America. What? Is that how this story's going? It's remarkable how, like, freedom, quote unquote, whatever the hell that is completely opposite. And of course, now Brian's going to start swearing and stuff when he starts talking about the political situation of our world. Anyway, point of the matter here, I suppose, right here is this is a limited list of some of the names that I have that I was able to put on Kraken here, and I'm just going to manage these things for now. And if I can move any of the others over, I will. And you can see I've got a bit of dry powder. I've actually been taking a lot of profits lately on some names that have just gone absolutely zooming higher. And you can see how much I've got in like available balance. That means that quite literally I have like $5,300+ working in bids because I want to buy. I want to get long. This is the time to buy. And you got to have your plan together. You got to have all the capital together. You can even see here if I click on the little trade icon. I don't think It's too much information here. That's too personal to share with you. But you can see, look at all the buy orders I have. Buy, 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 buy. I want to buy. Give me a goddamn level to buy. But, going back to where I started this conversation, crude trade's working nice. There's no way I could touch stuff like this. This is a stock, but it just goes to show what a lot of the market looks like right now. Specifically talking about crypto. Where can I show you this? This may be back over here. We were just going through this sort of universe here this morning, and of course you saw all those buy orders, but I'm not allowed to buy and chase up markets. I'm just not. So, the blue ones, I actually was able to sneak my way in. And of course, like I said, I transferred over a bunch of coins from the ledger. So you saw the list, but actually, gee whiz, I think I'm probably going to get a double on this guy here pretty soon. And this is kind of the business that I do. Actually, that's weird how that's like that. Is it over here? Let's go OMG. There it is. Hey, there you go. Look at that. Might even be making money from trading as I speak to you. Now that's talk about multitasking. I could sit here and actually make money from. Oh, now I say I start talking about it, they'll back it off right now. But I wouldn't be surprised if I get a fill here on this thing before the end of the day. I mean, this is everything I'm trying to teach you in our education program. You have to force yourself. Remember, I showed you that image. What did the market look like in the beginning of October? Was anybody interested in buying this crypto stuff there at the beginning of October? Anybody over on YouTube, can you validate what I'm seeing here? Does this make sense that through this market state here, you couldn't give this crap away, right? And what is your tool that you can wake up every morning and say, all right, are we officially in they are literally throwing the baby out with the bathwater, and it's time for me to start getting serious about getting on the buy side. Anybody see this? Am I still connected? It says there's 39 of you watching this. Actually, it looks like my baseball hat gets cut off here. Man, it's tough getting people to interact with me these days. Adam, of course, Adam banging out huge wins today. Great. Congratulations, Adam. He was all barking at us about all the money he's rolling in. Remy says, yes, clearly. I mean, for 70, 80 bucks a month, whatever we're offering to charge you with this Black Friday deal for the access to the dashboard, basically like $9.95 for a year subscription. What does that work out to? Like 80, 85 bucks a month or something. Could you have made $900 on this signal from the dashboard telling you to get you off your ass and start getting in there and buying? While everybody and their brother in the public is like, oh my God, this is horrible. We're all gonna get, I don't know what the hell they're saying. Great part about this, folks, is this is so cliche, but the problem is nobody teaches the public this stuff. Only this nutso Beamish guy. So, one of our core, you all know we're supposed to have 3 reasons to justify acting in the marketplace at any given point in time, right? And of course, number 1 is always location. And a really easy way, if you're watching this for the first time, you've never seen this kind of stuff before, one really easy way for you to determine attractive trade location is this Fibonacci tool, right? And on TradingView, they've got these lines here, and you click on this button and it goes Fib retracement. Of course, this is a core concept that we teach in our level 1 program. Location, location, location. It is always the most important reason if you're ever thinking about buying anything in the marketplace. Location, location, location. And of course, if you haven't heard this before, but most of you over on that YouTube page and even in the lounge here, you all know this verbatim. This is my favorite fib location. If I can ever buy an asset that's less than 80%, I guess less than 20% of its previous trading range, i.e., forcing myself to come in at the bottom end of the range. And then, I look at this price chart and go, ooh, that looks attractive. And then I go over to the dashboard, and the dashboard is saying this market is officially washed out. Gucci sweater wearers are flipping burgers at McDonald's now because they don't know what the hell they're doing and they've lost all their money. Do you see how these two tools in combination, right? I would make the argument that something like this OMG, it probably fell into the category of short-term oversold with the price coming down into this 78.6 here. It's just, and that's the whole point of the breadth indicator, is that it doesn't measure one asset, it measures the entire market. So if you have everybody selling everything, that's actually your time as a professional money manager that wants to make money from this business of trading. Well, it's right there. And interesting, somebody just posted there, OMG is very high risk of delisting. Well, I hate to say it, Jackie Adams. This whole space is the most speculative possible space you could be involved in the speculation business. The whole damn thing, all of crypto. This is unregulated. This is the most extreme end of capitalism. This is this guy that you are dealing with. And of course, I was barking at you on, I don't know, was it Monday when I had my rants about this clown? It doesn't matter whether it's OMG or it's Bitcoin, Jackie. This is an extremely speculative space. And last cycle top, this guy was on like talk shows and was labeled the next genius in finance, and everybody was in love with them. And, professional football players were giving him hundreds of millions of dollars. And of course, losing it all. Way to go. What's that guy's name? And he's got the model wife. And of course, they just live the perfect life. Except when it comes to speculating in the market, they get their asses handed to them like everybody else. Because, I'd just be curious. Great that you remember that guy's name, Tom Brady, right? Let's see if you guys can actually write this. What is the statistical percentage of people losing money when they come to the market to speculate? Do you have any idea? And of course, I've got a whole bunch of OGers there that all know this stuff backwards. And that's the one thing I absolutely love about TRI is we train pros. Do you know how many? It would be really cool to see actually how many people we've sent over to Top Step. Chris, you're over working with these Top Step people now. Hey, you passed their test, didn't you? See if Chris is even here. I don't know if he is.
That I did. Yes, I am trading with Top Step.
There you go. Adam, you're over there at Top Step, aren't you? I think actually he's going through the process right now. Ed, of course, is I think our day trader room cowboy. I told you about Craig, Casper. We train pros. I love that about TRI. So I don't have to worry about you guys being, hey, there you go. Prince is funded at Top Step. Right. It's remarkable how many people chime in and go, well, I'm over at Top Step. Well, I'm there. I couldn't ask for a better outcome from all of this. And I absolutely love John Hoagland. I think he's one of the sweetest, nicest people, especially in the trading world. That's damn hard to find. So If I train you and I send you over to John, and I know that you're in good hands working with John, I feel like I've done my job. I really do. So, hello. Yoro says, hi. Hello. Congratulations, Prince. You've done level ones and twos. Well, man, I'd love to see you in level three and teach you about options. And keep in mind in level three, like if you've done the level one or two, keep in mind you get to work with the Beamish in level three. And I don't have a stopwatch running. Sometimes our classes are like 3-4 hours long because I love to talk. You watch these videos. Can you imagine having a class with Brian? You watch anyway. So the point of the matter here, I don't mean to beat up on you, Jackie, but you have to understand what space you're getting involved in. And keep in mind, this is a core concept of what we teach you is that there is actually an appropriate way to play an incredibly, insanely risky market like venture capital. And I don't care whether OMG has a high probability of being delisted. I actually build into my plan the expectation that, especially this particular plan, 30-40% of these names could literally go off the board, disappear, never hear from them again. And I'm still perfectly comfortable expecting to make money on my portfolio. That is a core concept that we teach in our level one program. How do you manage risk? So with that said, I'll leave that conversation for now. I think I've said my piece there, but just understand, you're playing in this crypto space, you're playing against this guy. And if you don't know who this guy is and you're playing in the crypto space, remember, and I've had this conversation with you before, right? He's basically the same as this guy. You're playing in the crypto space. Let's see how many of you over on YouTube actually know who this is. What coin is this guy from? And if you don't know, maybe do a little bit of research, because you have to understand how dangerous speculating in venture cap can be. Thank you, Cole. Cole was in our meeting last night. Hey, speaking of which, Cole, I think you probably saw, but I have the bid working on this Microsoft spread right now, and I'm going to try and sneak my way in off of this gap right here. So we had a really cool conversation last night in the club. Every Tuesday night, we have a stock pickers club. These are spreads, options. Like I said, we teach options in our level 3 and level 4 program. And actually, I think I'm probably going to run a level 4 class this winter, because I've had quite a few people ask to be taught a little bit more specific on spreads and how we calculate what spreads are attractive and unattractive. So this was an idea we were kicking around last night in the group. And actually, it was a tweet that I even put out. And I think this is a really good sales pitch for TRI. So one of the topics that we teach in our advanced program is this concept called sector rotation. It'd be interesting how many of you on YouTube, 45 of you, I don't know, Glass Insights, have you done the whole program? I don't know. I think Meg, Meg's been on our staff and is a helper when we get swamped with a whole bunch of students in a level 1 program. All right, so Glass Insights, I certainly hope Meg remembers this. But the point here is that this is a concept that we teach in our level 3 program. It's pretty advanced. Try and understand how pension fund managers operate in the marketplace. They get given very specific amounts of capital on a very regular basis, and they must put that money to work. They have no choice. So the question is, where the hell are they going to put the money to work? And would they be considered the smart money? Pulled up this chart of Microsoft. And it's interesting that Microsoft basically has gone sideways now for, better part of 6 months now, which is a bit surprising. I don't know whether this is a bull or bear. And frankly speaking, it's not my job to predict what's going to happen here. My job believe it or not. And if you don't know this and you really want to be a professional trader, you better understand this, maybe write it down. My job is to just simply identify situations where I see certain things happening, and I know statistically the odds of something happening in my favor. I'm expecting price to go up. I'm expecting to make money from trading, being long, blah, blah, blah. We know that the statistical odds of that happening are greater than, and really, I think we want to shoot for somewhere in that 60 to 70% window. You heard me earlier chiding, what was that person's name? Jackie, about appropriate risk. And, should I expect 30, 40% of the names that I buy the ideas to not work? Yeah, I do. At the same time, too, and this would be a good opportunity for all of you watching the video to participate here. If I am right, and it turns out that the edge that I'm following statistically is valid, and indeed this happens to be one of the 60, 70 percenters, what has to happen relative to when I'm wrong for me to actually be prosperous at this game of trading? I have to get something. And if you don't know this, then you better get your butt into the education program and learn how this game of speculating professionally works. Thank you, Cole. You're the only one who jumped through my hoop here. You got to get paid. Adam today, great example. Did Adam get paid? I mean, this is a stock, so it's sort of apples and oranges, but hey, it's the same damn thing. Over in DeFi land, and of course I got paid nicely, but Adam, I think, even made more money than me. And I'm coming down to Sacramento this winter. I made a promise that I would come and buy somebody a steak if they stuck around. TRI. So I think they're still around. I think I saw the other day that they were still here. But this bad boy, look at that. They're moving her back up again, too. So this guy here, I've been paid repeatedly, but this is exactly what we do as speculators in the marketplace. I don't know where the hell this thing's going. I'm not going to get into the business of predicting the future. But hopefully you can see that if I force myself, it's too bad that this thing, isn't that weird? It doesn't have any of my write-up. Anyway, this is over on Bird Eye, but Bird Eye doesn't seem to want to update for me right now. It's kind of acting wonky. But you can see, and this could be exactly the same as OMG. I don't know. It's just, this is the way capitalism works. I got to force myself to come in at the bottom end of the range. And you can see I bought, and I just had to sit there and just do nothing. Then all of a sudden the market starts coming back to life and I start spoon feeding coins into the marketplace. And it's so bizarre why I can't get this stupid Bird Eye. Anyway, I did the chart up somewhere else. I'm not quite sure where it is, but if we go and look at Twitter, of course, I always like to advertise nice big fat wins. I don't know whether it impressed the ladies or not, but this is basically what I did overnight. That's not a bad looking trade. And he says, you guys are strange. Well, we are. I mean, that's the irony of all of this, is that we don't actually really act the way that normal humans act in this whole capitalism process. I mean, hell, you want to know what the normal humans act? Turn on CNBC and listen to that Jim Cramer guy. Bitcoin's rat poison. It's going to zero. So what does Bitcoin do? It goes straight up. Then he comes out right at the top of the market. Oh, Bitcoin's awesome. You should invest in Bitcoin. So what does Bitcoin do? It drops 10%. I'm not quite sure if that Kramer guy, he's a fundamental analyst. I've seen him do technical analysis in the past. And frankly speaking, I'm not impressed. He doesn't really do a very good job at technical analysis, but so what? Who cares? Point of the matter here is this is a perfect example where I had no idea what the hell this damn thing was going to do. And sure enough, bang, 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 here come the doubles, the thing's racing higher here. And, this is the vulgarity of crypto these days and trying to trade on DeFi. when I get my fill here, and this actually was at 15, so that number's slightly wrong. But when I got my fill here at 15, what's the appropriate thing for a professional to do? What I do is I spoon feed the market as they take price higher. I never want to sell everything, but every time the asset doubles, I put up another half of my position for sale. And this is what kind of sucks about DeFi. Because if this was Trex, I wouldn't even be worried. I wouldn't be concerned. And really, any of these centralized exchanges, I know I get my fill. What kind of sucks about this DeFi space and working off of this Dex Screener and Jupiter, I think it's called. I think that's the name of it. Is you can even see here this thing, and actually this is versus Solana. But if we go over here on this bird eye, I think it was. Oh, now I can't even see the page. Come on, you. Are you going to come on? Sorry, this bird eye is awfully funny. Anyway, you can see the high here on this size here today. I don't know. Now where it's gone. And actually, you can see it even on Jupiter. This kills me. Look at the high there, 3.3. Remember, I sold my last lot at 15, right? I sold yesterday at 15. And then today they ran it all the way up to 3.3. Now, if this was CME, if this was a futures trade, if I could show somebody that there was actually a print above my sell order, and you can see my funny little sell order down here. It's on here somewhere. There it is. There's my next sell half on a double order, just taking like $40 bills out of this thing. You can see it's sitting there at 0.003. This has been working all night. And yet, because this is DeFi, no fill for you. Boo, jerks. So anyway, you got to deal with the vulgarity of DeFi. But if this was any other exchange and any other sort of trading platform, I would have been banging out another double, and of course, been squawking to you about spoon feeding the market. The irony of it all here, though, is you tell me. This is the beautiful part about playing the market the way that we play this market. I didn't get my fill there at 3. I should have, but I didn't. No soup for you. Yeah, no fill for you. But have I got anything to complain about here? Would you not like to be in a position like this where you are just literally counting how many doubles this silly thing is spitting out? Isn't that a pretty comfortable vocation? And if anything, this is kind of a bad sign. Remember, I told you before, what always rises last in the marketplace? So the fact that this stuff is all starting to come alive and starting to do this crazy ass behavior, is this a sign that maybe we're nearing the end of this short-term bull run here? Or is this the sign that, hey, we're just getting started? I think you know the answer to that. So I guess as a good analogy here, though, do you think that I would suggest to any of you here that this is a good place for you to come in and put your hard-earned money to work? No, absolutely not. Remember, as professionals, we have to force ourselves to buy down markets. Right. And you know what? The easiest way to identify where is a pretty good place to work bids, maybe to be buying down markets, is that fun little reload zone tool. Right. It's the easiest way to force yourself to go, oh, crap, we're down 80% correction. I should be getting in there and accumulating. And then, of course, like I said, if you, if you can subscribe, we'd love to have you part of our community. We have tools in place that actually tell you officially when the market is officially washed out and it's time to get very serious about buying. I mean, I got to tell you, we were kind of wondering, how's this sales pitch going to go here for the Black Friday deal? And do we have any information that we can show you why this platform is so valuable? And I hate to say it, folks, this image right here, coupled with this image right here, and look how do you now see, like based on what we saw in that size, do you see why this thing is saying avoid here? Because if we look at almost any of these names, they are way, way, way off the lows. And as cheap asses that expect to make money from trading, I cannot chase these names. I mean, we can sit and talk about how wonderful Bitcoin is. We can sit and talk about how wonderful Ethereum is. BNB, XRP, Doge, TON, CAS, NEAR, whatever. But that doesn't mean I have permission to go and actually spend my hard-earned money on buying these things. No, no, no. So I hope you can understand that the tools that we put in place here are specifically here designed to help you make money from trading. That's the whole point of this exercise. And I think, blowing a little less than $1,000 on an annual subscription here, you just wait for a situation like we had there in October. And this is like literally shooting fish in a barrel. It's so easy to make money. You can make that $1,000 back really quickly, like this kind of crap. And the irony of it all here is I'm not in a hurry to get a fill here. This thing might very easily run up and then come all the way back down. And even if we did that, can you see that I would actually still be technically up on this trade? I'm not expecting that, but it's no big deal if it happens. What I am expecting is probably through the weekend, I will be getting a fill and I'll be posting yet another banging out doubles because that's what Brian does. In fact, actually, I got a couple here that are pretty close to double level. I think this guy's about getting pretty close, right? Same sort of logic. You can see the 78.6. Actually, this guy's got a little bit further to go up top. But there's my order working. We get some sort of crazy blow off top because the Gucci sweater wearers are all coming piling in, panicking on the buy side. But great, I'll get my fill and I'll bang out another double. You saw the OMG, this lit. I think this guy's another one here, getting pretty damn close. You can see them just name after name after name. This is what I do. Would you like to do the same? Would you like to be the person that's not buying into here, but actually selling into here? It's too bad I don't have that on there. Let's see, maybe I have it over here. Where's Cripple? I have it written up here. Oh, no, bizarre. Oh, no, there we go. Remember we had a long conversation about this? This guy here basically rallied up into reload short zones. And really, I'm not even stressed about this. I don't even care. I've already sold. And if anything, as you saw here, I've got orders to actually start buying all this crap back when, sort of reality sets in and all this stuff starts working its way back down against the bottom end of ranges, right? Do you want to set yourself up to make money from trading? You have to force yourself to come in on the buy side down here. And then when these things pop, you got to force yourself to sell into strength and make money from trading. All right. I think I've said my piece here. And there's name, all of the blue ones I was able to pick up a bit more. And actually, here's a good example. This one right here, I just bought the other day. There's no reason why you guys can't join me on this. I mean, there's no guarantees whatsoever that you're going to make money at this idea. No guarantees whatsoever. And frankly speaking, I don't even care whether you buy or sell this. I don't care. I bought, I have my money on the line, and you can see exactly where I will be banging out doubles, as I always do, should this thing actually start to perk up here like you saw on any number of these other names. So, just business as usual. It's really nothing new here. Super excited about this little sushi. Oh my goodness. You saw in the account, I got a whack of this on the books. And look at that beautiful W. So W's and then another big W. And this W itself here starts spitting out Feigenbaums. fascinating how 4.669, right? This is just math. And interesting how 4669 chaos is basically saying that we're probably going to see some sellers step in off of this level right against this high. Well, as I told you earlier, remember Nebraska, right? This is basically his FU setup where he's going to come in and he's going to sell against a tag of that high looking for that fade short. Remember, I told you, Craig, he makes tons of money just day trading that shit all day long. So it's fascinating how we already have a nice little hint that that's going to be a really important level going forward. Now, the irony of it all is that my cost basis on this thing is around, it's around like $1.10 or something like that. It's a little bit high because I bought actually back last year on this thing. I think actually I bought, actually, it might have even been through this window here. So not the best cost basis, but interesting to see over time. I'm seeing the bottoms come in. So it's not the end of the world being long where I am. But you can bet your bottom dollar we get up into this, anywhere really around $2. And of course, Brian's going to be banging out doubles just like I always do. So don't be shocked if you see that. I'm just waiting for this thing to pop. But anyway, great looking price action there on that guy. Anyway, you can see all of these names we own, or at least I own, for the portfolio that I'm managing. And if there's green boxes by them, it means that I'm working bids. And if there's pink boxes by them, it means that I at least have alert set. And when the alert goes off, I'll have to go and find some money to go and actually buy these things. So the problem here, remember we looked at the dashboard. And the dashboard right now is saying, are these assets? And that's basically what this function is. I'm not quite, do you call it a function? An algorithm? I'm not quite sure. What it does is it just simply asks, is the market 50% level is a really good, keep you honest indicator. And all you do is you take the 52-week high plus the 52-week low, add them together and divide by 2. Notice that 50% level is actually above where price is currently. So that's going to get a positive score in our ranking. Then we ask, is the moving average, the fast moving average, above the slow moving average? And you actually heard one of our OGs, he came on, I guess, a couple weeks ago there with Julian Cotter. And this is Brian's bias. You heard him talking about Brian's bias. I tell you, this bias, it'll keep you out of a lot of trouble in the market if you just respect the message that it's giving. So, for instance, the S&P 500, and this was the last time I was a stockbroker. And I even can show you the blog post when I did the write-up and everything. It's still there sitting out on the interneting. This stuff here doesn't matter because what I want to do is go back in time here. But if we put on Brian's bias, and let's go 13 EMA, 30 SMA. I guess I don't know whether we need this stuff, but really all I want to show you is the actual bias. Where is that? Is that one? Guess we got to find one. Yeah, there it is. All right. So bull, bear, bull, right? This, and if anything, this was half the reason why I got out of the stock business back in 2006. Last time I was officially a stockbroker was actually right around when this thing actually crossed. So I left the brokerage business here in 2007. And you can see, I mean, this is absolutely incredible. This is Brian's bias tool. Work on the weekly charts. You tell me, did that help you avoid that whole great financial crisis? Turns out it was actually a great financial short setup trade that could have made you bucket loads of money. I mean, you tell me, is that the kind of information that you kind of want to help you time your purchases? Then it's interesting. Obama comes in, George Bush and all those idiots all get run out. They announce quantitative easing. The market firms up quite a bit. And then that spat up that really nice buy setup right into there. And then we went into a consolidation, get out through the consolidation. Soon as the consolidation's over, bias flips back to bull. Obviously, you see the huge W here. And that set up that trade. Bias flips bear, you avoid all of this. Bias flips bull, that got you long there. Well, it's not bad. Nice W. Now watch this. This is insane. So that buy signal, let's see how long that lasted. Holy crap. And it keeps going and going. Even look at this flash crash. Nope, nothing changed. And going and going. And oh, hello. There's a sell signal. Now, I don't know. You tell me. Is that kind of valuable information for you? Hint, hint, hint. Questions probably on the final exam. Anybody who's taken an education course, I used to always do that. People always laughed at that. Would you like to know what the bias is right now? Would that be of any value to you? I wonder. Let's go see. Oh, look at that. The bias turned bullish back in November of last year. Isn't that interesting? And this thing doesn't look like it's stopping at all. I mean, does that, you see what kind of price action has to happen here for this to roll over? Can you see how it sort of starts making lower highs and lower lows and the moving averages roll over? But when the moving averages are this wide apart and we're making new highs, do you have any business whatsoever getting bearish through here, even on this V-top dump? Nope. You need to have this distribution phase that actually lets the fast moving average roll over and actually cross the slow moving average. So it's fascinating when you go on social media right now. What is the primary message that you're hearing out of all of these social media people? See, isn't there some sort of talk right now that the whole fucking world's going to crash and we're all going to burn and oh my God, it's the end of the world. I mean, like, look, I'll just show you. It's insane when you see this stuff and you're like, what the fuck are these people going on about? And, I hate to say it. This is a terrible commentary, but it's so true. I mean, I just got to show you this before I move on here. It's taking a second here for YouTube to load this up. Actually, this is a good broadcast today. I feel pretty good. I'm giving you guys some good value here. All right, so this is sort of that homepage there over on YouTube, and I just clicked it. There's good old Top Step. Well, you come in here, and I mean, look at this. Asset collapse, and it's too late. Oh, you're gonna die, and I mean, it's just one thing after another. Own nothing, and you'll get poor. And I mean, some of these influencers, I mean, it's just insane. Actually, this is not so much. This is the TRI page. Developers getting crushed. Well, if anything, that's a good sign. We don't want these guys. Remember, I showed you on Monday those stupid videos. I couldn't believe that. This guy here, new money, the smart money, just doubled down, talking about getting short and selling. I don't know what the hell that is. But on my B Beamish page, man, there are a ton of these shillers all saying it's the end of the world and all that. This guy here, literally since the sickness, every single video he's talking about the fucking world coming to an end. Every single video. And yet, look at this, 173,000 views. And this guy could not have been more wrong about everything since that sickness. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense how these people have so many followers. And I think it must be like kind of like, fear drives viewership. And then people don't even acknowledge the fact that they're terribly wrong at their picks. So anyway, I thought I could show you, but it was quite remarkable the other day when I saw how many, especially this guy, he another self-styled expert that's been basically calling about the end of the world forever and completely wrong. So this guy here also too talking about the end of the world and recessions constantly coming and they just don't materialize. It's quite remarkable how this just goes on and on and on. And it's the same character saying the same message. And I don't know, it just drives you crazy. Look at the end is coming. And I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Anyway, the point I would just make is you want a nice simple tool to keep you honest. This Brian's bias, my God, it's just such a simple tool that all of us can use. And you tell me, just based on this image, does that look like those moving averages are about to cross bearishly? Sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent scrolling through that YouTube page. I kind of lost touch with the audience here, but let's see if you guys can interact with me a little bit here. Does that look like a bearish message? I mean, look how long this thing took to roll over, and fascinating how it went bear and then it quickly flipped back to bull here. But does that look like it's about to cross short? And is this market actually bearish? This looks like it's a fucking runaway freight train. And the irony of it all is, off of each of these consolidation, we can start doing things like fog and bombs to give us upside objectives, especially this W here. That'll probably give us some juicy upside objectives. Boom. All right, so you can see we're coming into a level here. Should be a bit of a fight, but I wouldn't be surprised if all we do is just keep climbing the wall of worry. That's what I expect to happen, especially with Bitcoin. When I was talking to you guys about this earlier, our funny little seasonal chart. I mean, should we really be bearish of Bitcoin and bearish of our society when we transition from spring into summer? Would that have been a good idea to turn bear there? What, are you crazy? How about here? Would it have been a good idea to turn bear here when that's facing us in this summer? How about the previous one? Would it have been a good idea to turn bearish of Bitcoin here? That's that. No, this is the Silk Road reversal. But you can see the transition from spring into summer. Would that have been a good idea to turn bearish there? I don't think so. So I'm shocked when I hear people say that, you know what, that this market's topped out and you better sell now and you better get out. Well, I don't see that at all. I do think, however, and this is super important for you to understand. Markets never move in a straight line forever, right? And you could even argue right here. We had a pretty darn big move from here all the way up to here. And so what had to happen? Think of this as a rubber band, right? And the rubber band is like this big, but the rubber band got stretched all the way to this big. Now, what happens when you take a rubber band in its natural state and it's this size and you stretch the rubber band out this big? What's going to happen? You all know this. It's going to snap back. This is overbought. Now, you can use technical tools. The irony of it all, of course, is we teach concepts like divergence and price structure. And of course, if you have like fib levels and stuff, extensions and stuff to give you an idea of where market tops likely to come in. This is versus Chinese currency, though. I wouldn't really, we shouldn't analyze this here. If we look at like the real currency, the US dollars, I don't think it's a good idea to analyze anything in Chinese currency right now. It's just it's a train wreck in this country. So you can see back here, right? This was our last top, and we were walking you through that whole top. But you can see, if you don't listen to anything else, listen to RSI. Julian's going to come on and talk to you tomorrow about how much he likes RSI. And frankly speaking, it's a pretty darn good tool to keep you honest. And hopefully you can see there's a nice lower highs and lower lows, but also too, hopefully you can see that this was also a lower high. Notice that's got a bit of a negative slope. It's pretty close, but point here. And then, of course, we start to get into some serious lower highs. And then, of course, M's and RSI, look out. So point of the matter here is when you see RSI this overbought, above 70 is overbought, well, maybe you better temper your enthusiasm, right? This is the rubber band getting stretched to dangerous extremes. And I can absolutely guarantee you that when RSI looks like this, and we look at price, that was right here. I'm just going to get rid of all this gobbledygook so you can see the chart. I'll put it back when I'm done here. So poof. Yeah, I know it's going to be a mess. All right. So you can see RSI went into divergence. And actually, this will be a good opportunity for everybody to jump through a hoop. Who is it that's going to come online? And of course, he's an absolute crypto expert and he makes a ton of money from trading. Not. Who's going to tell you it's perfectly fine for you to come in and buy Bitcoin here because you're going to make a ton of money? And I tell you, he did it here and he did it the last cycle. I mean, literally on cue. You couldn't believe, you literally couldn't script it any better. Do you see how RSI moved to a lower high here and went to a higher high here? And of course, at this point, he came out and said exactly the same thing. You can see it over here. Every damn top, it's the same thing. Lower highs in RSI, higher highs in price. What do we call this market state? And of course, if you see this, for God's sakes, be careful, people. This is your money. He who shall not be named. So, I mean, I'm not going to say the name anymore. I don't want to say the name anymore. And the irony of it all is we even have an interview on the website with him. He used to be a student of TRI, but sadly, I don't think he learned too much while he was here. But no, well, I don't know. Maybe German taxi drivers corrupted him over the years. Who knows? But the point here is, I don't know. You tell me. Are we starting to get those same sort of messages? Is RSI maybe having a hard time going to new highs, but price is going to new highs? Is this a warning sign to you? Can you heed the warning? Now, one of my favorite tools to identify divergence is the MACD histogram. I love using this to identify divergence. I also built this specific indicator here just to identify when I think that the market is overbought, and I would be stupid to come in and risk my hard-earned money there. So you can see from a trading perspective, things are getting a little bit overdone here, and we're probably due for a bit of correction. It doesn't mean that Bitcoin is a short. What it does mean, and who can finish this expression, right? And if you've never heard this before, for God's sakes, write it down. Pullbacks are what? That's what this market state is. Because keep in mind, we are in the seasonally appropriate time for this stuff to go crazy. So this is not a good time to be thinking about shorting. You're asking for trouble. But at the same time, too, could we see a serious pullback here in this market? Because you saw what the daily chart looked like. And if we think about rubber bands, the parking garage is a really, really good illustration of that rubber band concept. Notice, watch what happens when I do a parking garage study of this move. We'll go here to here. And then we will do an extension. Boom, one parking garage. Do you see how the parking garage was your warning that, hey, things have gone maybe a little bit too far here, and they probably need some time to clean themselves up. This is exactly the same as what we're entering here now. Excellent. Good, Kevin. Good, Adam. I don't know what the hell Eddie's going on there. Gold stakes, gold vacas. Cool. We got to get you out. You never came to Portugal. We got to get you on the vaca trade. And actually, you know what we need to do is who can tell me where's Leandros? Good, Meg. Good glass insights. Very good. Where's Leandros? How do you say cow in Greek? That's probably what we need to be saying here. Because if you are interested, we're having a big TRI meetup in the Greek Isles next October into the cycle pivot, because we know that come October there's our 1.382. You better not be falling in love with this stuff. Ironically enough, that's actually when we have to get the hell out and take profits and pay yourself for all this goddamn hard work that you've put in accumulating this stuff over the crappy period. And this tool works so brilliantly. Every single cycle, if we get into the 1.618 to 1.786 window, you can see 1.618 here. I'll put them up top so you can see this. Actually, what happens if we go middle? There we go. Oh, even better. Look at that. This 1.618 to 1.786 window, this is the bottom is officially here window, right? That's why all last year I was like, hey, do you have your shit together? Are you ready? I mean, this is freaking incredible. So, but the point here is you can see this is 1.382. That was the top of the cycle. Here is 1.382. You better be prepared next October, right? It's a full year from now. So we got a year to go and make just a bucket load of money. But you got to have your shit together. You got to have your plan. Speaking to Jackie there, you have to understand appropriate risk management. Do you understand appropriate risk management? What's Brian's 2 rules of investing? If you don't know, get your butt into the education program and let's get you schooled up. And oh, by the way, if you are interested in saving a bit of money, and keep in mind, you could make this $1,000 back pretty damn quick if you just simply follow the signals that we've built here to have you properly positioned. So get in the school, learn how to run a business of trading, sign up for the dashboard. And while you're in the school, of course, you get access to the dashboard. And what's really cool is we've actually even created algorithms on the site that will actually give you trade setup signals that we even teach in the school program, 3-step setup. Grim's sort of contribution to the TRI experience. Hugs and kisses. Love you, Grim. Nanny nibbles, right? All that kind of talk. So I don't think I really need to make any more sales pitch, but I tell you, if you're serious, you really want to make a serious change in your life, and you're new to investing, don't go in and just blindly throw your last $1,000 at the market, hoping that you make money, because you just don't know. And what I'm worried about, like the dashboard suggests here, is that there aren't really a lot of really good looking ideas anymore, because we're not wickedly washed out oversold here. I mean, look at the breadth indicator itself. When the breadth indicator looks like this is like, oh my fucking God, I can't believe the breadth looks like this. We got to get in there. We got to buy. But does the breadth indicator look like that now? No, it doesn't look like that at all. In fact, what's really bothersome is you can see on a medium-term basis, we are still very overbought. Now, what does that look like? Well, I hate to say it, but you saw that cripple. Well, there's the crude. Yeah, trade's working away. That's nice to see. Where is the cripple? Where are you crazy cripple? Am I going to suggest that you're going to make money coming in and buying an asset that's sitting up there? You know how this story goes, folks. This is a visual representation, this huge move up here. In fact, we're technically in a shorting window right now. I don't like the idea of shorting. I've told you repeatedly, if we do get pullbacks, I want to buy into that pullback. I don't want to be short. But to be perfectly honest with you, if we went into divergence and then this thing starts spitting out big M's, I wouldn't be shocked if you hear that people are shorting, but I'm not going to be shorting. What I'm going to be doing is I want to see this thing dump into reload zones and I will be buying more. I bought, I sold, I will now buy back, right? And this is our concept called cars. How many cars can you get on the books so that when this thing does go ape shit and you could argue you could have done the car scenario here. You buy down here, you sell up here, you buy back down here, you sell up here, you buy back down here, you sell up here, you buy back down here, you sell, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is the way the capitalist machine works. So when we get into, and this is a really, really long-term picture. I don't think it's going to look like this. But if we go back to like that daily chart, my hunch is that this thing probably does, on the site, we have one OG, Colin. Actually, I see Colin participating on the site quite a bit lately. So great to see you back in the fold. Actually, we've seen quite a few OGs coming back and turning up. Kevin Kavarkinator's back participating on the site. Great to see him participating. Like I said, Colin from Hero Exchange and his I think he made a pile of money off of Danny last cycle. I can't remember though. Man, but you know what? We should probably get Colin on here for a Friday show, maybe. That might be an idea. Anyway, point of the matter here is selling into red boxes. And if we do get pullbacks back into green boxes, damn well Brian's going to be back reloading. That's just what I do. So anyway, it'd be really interesting to see whether we can get a fill on this thing before you know what? I have to keep talking until we get a fill here. Oh, I don't know how long this is going to take. We could be here all day. Anyway, we'll see what. Oh, look at that. It's fading. Oh, well, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Let's see. Anything else to get excited about here? Man, I love the look of this sushi. Great to see him perking up here. Problem in now, though. Can I come to you and say that that's a good place to risk your hard-earned money on the buy side? No. If I really did want to buy, and I remember I'm already loaded up, so I don't need any more of this. But if I did want to buy, again, this exact same thing as everything that we teach in our education program. You can actually see where I should be working my bid right now, 62.5 cents. So there's the buy window. And in fact, actually, I was mentioning John Hoagland earlier. John loves volume profile. He lives for volume profile. And he loves coming in and buying the bottom of value. If you get some sort of absolutely insane spike, like, maybe a delisting kind of talk, if we did dip down below value here, he would love that kind of idea. Very hard to do. Not going to say it's easy, but Mr. Hoagland, he's like a 40-year market veteran. So not a big surprise he does that kind of stuff. Anyway, and this is a concept, of course, that we teach in our education program, our level 2 program. So, okay, I think that's about the message I wanted to give all you today. I am busy in the stock market. I think, interestingly enough, I actually like the idea of the whole market taking a bit of a pause here. I don't think it's a short, and we talked about the S&P 500. If anything, what we should expect is a pullback to short-term support. That's why I like the 13 EMA. Notice how pull back into support, market rebounds. 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 So I could very easily see pull back into that 13 EMA there, support, which means that we might have some back and forth here. Now, why would I say that? I guess first and foremost, if we look at the lower time frame charts, things like daily charts, there's a lot of unfinished business here, which is bothersome. If you take the education program, again, another concept in our level 2 program that we teach, gap theory, all of these, you should like literally expect these gaps at some point to be filled in. And there's a very high statistical probability that that will happen. So like above 90%, the odds that this actually gets filled in. That's a pretty damn big edge. So I don't think we work our way all the way down here. I think this is probably maybe, I don't know. Cole's expecting the world to fall apart in like March through the eclipses. And I could see that we get some sort of serious correction that fills in these gaps down here through that March window. I think in the short term, you got to look at these huge, insane gaps just even here recently. I think in the short term, all of these gaps should be filled in. And I wouldn't even be surprised if there's some sort of great liquidity hunt. Julian, he loves to talk to you about liquidity. I think there's a couple of site members, M Soshi or Toshi or something like that. He's going on about liquidity pools and stuff in Bitcoin a lot. This is the expression, and then we went after the stops. There's a ton of stop loss orders sitting there, which is a liquidity pool. So if they can manufacture some reason to bring this market down, they can trip up all those stops, fill in the gap. And probably also too, this is like Colin and his pump chaser zone for sort of where should we be thinking about support. Again, teach this in our education program. So seriously consider, if you haven't already, 38.2s is actually a test of that low. That's interesting. So at any given point in time, we should expect 38.2 pullbacks. So don't be shocked if over the next maybe week or two, we actually get a bit of a pullback. I don't think we're going to go this deep. I think we'll probably run into this liquidity pool, fill in this gap, play in this range here very briefly, and then resume our march higher. And then if we want to think about, are there actually any trades that I might actually consider? Certainly nothing in the broader stock market, but in the technology space, there's some interesting price action. We've been following SMH here for a while. This is sort of the ultimate leading indicator for the technology space. And it's not looking really happy right now. Again, if we think about Mr. Hoagland would suggest that value high is actually a pretty important level. I might even also argue too that this is a distribution node on the profile, and this is a distribution node, and I might even argue that this is a distribution node. You see how they have like three little mountains. So each of these notches, right? This notch right here, we call that a muak. It needs attention. Think of this as a muak that needs attention. That's probably the mark that hits, in that March correction. I think in the short term, I would not be surprised to see the market play against that low, and that low. So it is interesting that this setup did fire. This is a harmonic. Then we got a nice market structure failure following the harmonic. I suppose like pure harmonicans would probably like to be short up top there. If you were like a real sharpshooter, then on the actual completion of the Gartley, I think this was a Gartley. Yeah, pretty close. You'd probably be like saying, all right, well, there's the break. So I'm going to hunt. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. I'm going to hunt a reload zone on that range. And that would have gotten you going short right in that rally right there. That would be like the badass, I'm a kick-ass trader dude. Higher time frame, a little bit slower. This is a 2-day chart. I'm not really in a big hurry here. There's no reason to push. I think the technical setup is valid and it's just working away. And you can see how it's slowly slipping lower here. Now you might argue that this actually represents A to B and C to D. So I like the idea over the next week that we push down into these levels. There, of course, is 2.618. We talked about Feigenbaum's earlier, chaos theory. Not a big surprise that basically we're going to probably, think Nebraska FU setup. There's probably a bunch of stops all down in this area. So we hit chaos there, and you might see price get really chaotic in here. That's the definition of chaos, because you got all these people who are short and they're driving the market down. But then you've got these stop loss orders, and these are basically people who are long. And this is going to be a sell order that trips up when we go through those levels. And you've heard me say the expression, and then we went after the stops. There are probably people who are pushing this and shorting it and pushing it down so that they can push it into these sell orders that trip here. And the people that shorted up here, they actually buy into those stop loss sell orders. That's usually how this game works. Again, think liquidity pools. So it's very tough for me to make a bullish case in the face of that. Very, very difficult. I guess the question ultimately here is why. And unfortunately, when we look at this market carpet, you can see this is the semiconductor space. And this son of a bitch is it's not realistic. The economy can't keep working like this. I'm sorry. It's just, this guy is just way too big for his britches. And you see, it's interesting. I idolize guys like Druckenmiller. And it's fascinating how Druckenmiller got out over here. And so he's completely missed all of this. I did watch an interview with him recently, and he was chastising himself for missing this bull. But I'm kind of like, you probably don't want to be in the market through this, because especially if we go through this high here, this might represent a very long-term cyclical top. You never know. But if we look at NVIDIA itself, this is the darling. Something's not right here. And like I said, Druckenmiller, in his great wisdom, he got out here. And then, we consolidated, put in a bull ABCD, which sort of painted a new leg up top here. But doesn't this kind of look like maybe a head and shoulders top? I mean, they might get their act together and this neckline holds. It is interesting that this huge diamond pattern, this diamond into itself, very, very tough. In actual fact, trading crude oil this morning, I had a diamond pattern on the charts. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, well, I'm probably not going to be doing anything today. So this diamond here, very dangerous. And if we trade through either the top of the diamond or the bottom of the diamond, that's a continuation pattern, which means that technically, think parking garage. If this is one sort of level of the parking garage, there's huge range, top of the parking garage, bottom of the parking garage, that's the diamond. Then what that means is if we resolve either to the upside, then you project that same range higher, next level on the parking garage. But unfortunately, we resolved lower. So that means that we have to be thinking the next level on the parking garage. And oh, what a surprise. The neckline seems to be lining up nicely with that 1.618. So I would be thinking, based on this diamond's bearish resolution, that we have to trade down into that window there. Also, too, this might be interesting. What do you think the odds are? 38.2s are going to line up nicely with that parking garage level. I'd say probably pretty good. So if we go Colin and his pump chasers, boom. And lo and behold, look how close 38.2 and 200% is. Then to add insult to injury, since this is an M, up, down, up, fail, then that means we can do Feigenbaum's and chaos theory off of this range. And so if we do that, where is 2.618? Oh, hello. Do you see the confluence of levels building all around the next level of the parking garage? I don't know. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. That's actually, man, I could go to like New York and do a seminar on this. That's pretty sick. Talk about levels, eh? And oh, what a surprise. You can see all of this confluence of levels is all against this key pivot low here. That's cool. So I wouldn't be surprised if, like I kind of painted here, although it's a really big one. I would not be surprised if this is some sort of massive head and shoulders top. But in the short term, especially going through this holiday weekend, and then coming out the other side, usually we have what's like the turkey hangover. And historically, this first week of December, we often make reference to a speech that Alan Greenspan made about, oh my goodness, a fucking long time ago. 28 years ago. My God, where'd my life go? Anyway, a famous speech that he made right in here because the public was acting really stupidly in the market, bidding prices up. And then literally he made the speech and the market cracked like 3-4% the next day. And everybody remembered this speech forever. It's called the irrational exuberance speech. And ironically enough, what it really is just simply saying is heading into the holiday weekend, usually, now not so this year. Suppose if we ever get around to it, we could talk about econs and the economic data that came out today to justify this sell-off. But usually around the US Thanksgiving holiday weekend, right, which is Thursday, which is basically tomorrow. You can see it's not even on this charts. It's kind of weird how they completely removed the date, eh? That's bizarre. Anyway, right somewhere in there. Why on earth would they do that? That is bizarre. Anyway, this is usually actually when the market is toppy. So, and then we get a big dump. But I think that the dump already came like maybe a few days ago. And the semiconductors, I've been barking about these semiconductors for a while. Something's not right about this market. You know, this is the entire semiconductor sector. Something's not right here. And I think, like I said, it's riding the inertia of that NVIDIA breakdown. I did notice too, though, we had one site member, Cotter, you know, he said he was super excited about AMD. And I kind of was like, you know, I want to see the market get on the other side of this trend line. And then I want to see bullish structure. And then I'll get bullish with you. So notice, look what happened yesterday. Who can tell me what is the name of this candle that actually fired yesterday? And it is an ugly one. What is this called? And it is taught in our level 1 education program. It's an engulfing bar. It's most undoubtedly an upside outside reversal, very bearish price action. Now, I would have said, had this engulfing bar actually come in and closed out below this low here, I would have said, holy crap, run for the fucking hills. So the fact that we didn't close below that low is a little bit of a saving grace. But having said that, that is a very, very bearish price action. So, and I often see this happen, folks. You know, take a screenshot of this, write this down. Often I'll see that the market actually puts in bullish structure underneath this trend line. And this is a trap. Well, Kevin says, no, this is not Harami. You got it backwards. Nice try. Harami is, and who can help Kevin? Harami, by definition, is this bar. Thank you, Meg. Oh, you were so awesome. So you might argue, but baby's body was actually outside of mummy's body, so you can't even talk Harami here. You could maybe, you know, Japanese candlesticks people, they might call this Harami. But I wouldn't. I'd call that maybe bull rammy because baby's feet are outside of mummy's yaya. So I don't really like anything. I don't see Harami here anywhere. Sorry. This is actually, if we had closed below this low here, this would have been an outright outside downside key reversal. Very, very bearish. As it is a bearish engulfing bar. It's a rejection of that trend line resistance. And, I mean, bearish engulfing bars are pretty damn bearish. This actually is a sell signal, a break of the bearish engulfing bars low. That is actually a sell signal. So I'd be very, very leery. I mean, I'm not the type of guy that's gonna want to come in and short down here. But at the same time, too, can't be bullish. And if anything, looking at M's, Foggenbaum's, and then we went after the stops, this probably corresponds really well, them running these lows for that liquidity pool and chaos entering the market on that event right against that low there. And hopefully what you see is AMD must have a pretty big weighting in this SMH because it looks very similar. This is a amalgamation of the NVIDIA, of my Intel, AMD, a whole bunch of different semiconductor stocks. Hey, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Intel's not looking really very happy here either. We've come a long way off of the lows, and then we just put in a big fat M. So ironically enough, if you want to join me on the Intel trade, keep in mind, I'm long from down here around 20 bucks. I have no interest whatsoever in selling this for the next like 10, 20 years. But I could very easily see, since we just M'd out here, notice there's 2.618. There's a down trend line. My hunch is Intel trades back down into that trend line support. Could very easily see that. It would not surprise me whatsoever. And the interesting thing is that move down into support there, 2.618, bottom of value, Mr. Hoagland, fill in the gaps down here. Well, what do you think the odds are that that will be a reload zone? So again, this is another example where pullbacks are buying opportunities. I don't really want to short this. I mean, I do like the idea of shorting the NVIDIA because there's something that is fundamentally changed in that story. I think it's just way, way too big. It should not be like literally the entire semiconductor industry doesn't have the same market cap as NVIDIA. There's something broken with this picture. But market can remain illogical far longer than any one of us can remain solvent. But somebody mark my words. I believe in the next year or two, this NVIDIA box is going to shrink back down into relatively equal sizes with the rest of the participants in this space. We'll see. As I said, only time will tell. That's a grand prediction from the Beamish. Who knows if it comes true or not. All right. So in a weird sort of way, I am interested in that Microsoft. This would be the same sort of thing. I'd actually like to get a nice pullback on that Microsoft. I don't want to pay the market price. You know me, I'm a cheap ass. And actually, this is an interesting conversation too, because I think, basically since Mr. Trump's been elected, obviously China plays are getting their asses kicked. Did find it interesting that when we talk about tariffs, he's more interested in shitting on that stupid Trudeau idiot. And frankly speaking, this is going to be really fun to watch the two of them go at it. And I think Mr. Trudeau is no match for Mr. Trump. So we'll see what happens there. China, it's beautiful to watch the Chinese story play itself out because it's basically everything that should happen through an anti-Chinese market, i.e. Canada is a short here, and it will be for quite some time. I don't see that story changing anytime soon. And you tell me, Canadian dollar is the currency, it is the capital stock of our country. Now, what direction is this thing headed in? And it might be interesting. Let's go and take a look at the bias. So is it a 1330 moving average? I can put on the bias here so to help you see it. Should we have a bullish bias for Chinese assets and China in general, or should we have a bearish bias on China? Look out below! This looks really dangerous. Yeah. So, is it like the Kursk? What's the Kursk? I don't even know what that is. Down she goes. I'm not sure. I don't understand the reference. Having said that, so the irony of it all, and you can't write better fiction than reality. It's impossible. So I've been barking to all of you for quite a while about how the market actually set up a really pretty long-term, higher time frame short. And what a surprise! Mr. Trump has basically said, "I'm going to put Canada out of business as long as that stupid asshole is in charge in that country." And his little, I think she's a journalist by trade, is now our deputy prime minister and finance minister. I mean, how the fuck does that work? How on earth do I get that kind of job? I think I have more experience in the financial services industry than that bimbo. And I hate to say it, when it comes to financial matters, she is a bimbo. And there are male bimbos out there in the world. So it's not a sexist thing. She is just dumb as fuck, and she doesn't have any qualifications for being in that position. And it drives you crazy how these stupid democratically elected governments do this stuff. I mean, they're literally shooting themselves in the foot. Is this done on purpose? Oh, by the way, both of these two have been named trustees of the World Economic Forum, and they get guaranteed government pensions from the government of Canada to pay all of their expenses for the rest of their lives. I mean, the corruption is awful. And who's going to suffer? I'll tell you who's going to suffer. Canadian citizens are going to get destroyed here. And I hope everybody in this building hears this. This place is a short. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Hey, actually, the swearing wasn't too bad. Usually when I start talking about that a-hole, the language just goes to hell in a handbasket. In fact, actually, this is a really good example. I always talk to you guys about waiting for structural signals on the other sides of trend lines. So, oh boy, this does not look good. Any kind of M here, and this thing is just going to absolutely collapse. It's in sort of the I'm teetering mode, but notice no M has come in here yet. So my hunch here is that at some point in the not too distant future, there should be some sort of counter trend rally, probably back into moving average resistance. This actually might be a really good example for all of you to follow if you're interested in that ICT guy and his market structure signals, right? So we clearly have a let's see, how would we do this? Well, I think you could probably even just say that. Looks like a market structure shift. Market was trying to head higher here, although it's not really that great a one. Actually, you know what? I think we could probably even just go off of this. So there, market was trying to trend higher. It broke that, so we could put on this. And keep in mind, this is a weekly chart, higher time frame. It's probably not even really close to his setup. We'll call it Brian's setup, whatever. But if we go that market structure shift, and then what we're supposed to do is hunt what fib. And actually, this is Brian's approach, but you can kind of see it, right? Can you see how this is that fair value gap kind of concept? So this was the last traffic area. We lost this, and then we went into literally free fall here. So my hunch here is there should be fair value gap kind of thing. We're probably going to go into face rip rally here. You never know. Maybe Trump gets shot. Who knows? And then what fib have I told you? All TRI or OGers, you've probably heard this repeatedly. What fib would I use to really stock a short trade here? Anybody? Nobody? Oh, very good, Hafed. Hafed. I always love waking up in the morning and seeing Hafed say hello in the lounge. It's so awesome. It's like it's a little sort of just a little sunburst, right? The clouds just open up a bit And in comes a massive ray of sunshine whenever I see Hafid in the lounge say good morning. Yeah, it's beautiful. I have to say, I've been really, really privileged. Really privileged. In fact, actually, I think I was talking about Joby the other day. I don't know whether I was talking about the Joby. I think it was in the meeting last night. One of the reasons why I'm so bullish about Microsoft is it looks like it's trying to form a very specific setup. We like to call it at TRI a Joby gap. Um, and it was weird. While I was describing it to somebody, I actually felt the same feelings as when I talk about JoJo and Spirit. Same feelings. So I have a feeling Joby's actually watching us from the other side. Oh, I miss you, buddy. But I will say, I've been spoiled. Absolutely spoiled. I have been. The people that I'm surrounded with here at TRI, they're good people. Everybody has the best intentions. Nobody's here to screw anybody over. And, remember our conversation about Dan Friedberg in this venture cap and the speculation in the risk business. Oh my God, these guys are everywhere. And it's like, it's nearly impossible to avoid them. This jerk. There's nobody at TRI that's like this. We are exceptionally spoiled. The community that we have, exceptionally spoiled. And I've been spoiled. I really have. So thank you, Spirit, for spoiling me in that regard. I'd love to have you participate on the site, folks. We really would. The window here is open for another few more days for you to take advantage of some substantial discounts. I hope I've conveyed to you the value of this platform. And if you just wait for those heavily overbought or oversold conditions on the breadth indicator histogram, it's like literally shooting fish in a barrel. And the great part about it is this is the visual evidence of what the other side of that looks like. Do you think you could make $1,000 for that annual subscription out of a trade like this? I mean, this portfolio, it's our junior little old lady account, and it's supposed to demonstrate how you can manage like $500 portfolio and make money from trading. There's no reason why you can't. But it's also basically the same conversation as this trade. Exactly the same conversation. This is the bigger account. This is BAT, right? Just banging out doubles, just running my business of trading. You think you could have made $1,000 off of that signal in October there coming in, forcing yourself to buy against the bottom end of the range, taking some profits, paying yourself on the move up? All right. That's my sales pitch for you. I'm super privileged that I actually even have this job. Super privileged. Very, very spoiled. I would love to have you join us and let me spoil you too. All right, Hafed. Love you too, man. Think I'm going to have to make a pit stop in Barcelona there on my way to Greece. I think you and I have a long afternoon conversation that you and I need to have. All right, everybody. I got to go have a little cry. PMA for the win. Slow and steady wins a race. Remember what your number one job is. Don't take no wooden nickels. The only thing left to say to you good people is a hearty bye for now.